Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I just want you to know that there is happiness after losing a spouse, or even losing a father, or mother, a child. Because I've done all that. I've lost all that. Brothers, close friends. But there is happiness after that. You can't totally get away from the grief. Not totally. And, they say that we need to go through some of it. And, I just don't want to, because sometimes when it feels like you're going into depression almost, and depression feels like a hole that you have to dig your way out of. And if I start to feel that way, I start to feel a little depressed. It panics me. I was like, oh, I gotta hurry up and get out before it swallows me up. And anything that happens in my life that's negative, I just always have to find a way out. I can't just sit there in that state of mind, in that grief. When I lost a child, I was struggling to find purpose or meaning in life, or what I could go on and do with my life. And in that situation, it seemed like it was painting. That sounds crazy, because that was a thing that gave me joy again. And of course, knowing where he was at, knowing where he went. But today, I want to talk to you about widowhood, or for you gentlemen being a widower. It's a rough one. It really is. But it is something that you can get through, and you can find joy and peace again. You really can. I was just thinking of all the stinking things you feel. On with a glass as well. And one of them is, I think when you're going through all this grief, you feel tired, and you're stressed, depressed, you're scared, overwhelmed, you're lonely. I wrote some of this down here. Excuse me for reading them, but aimless, confused. You're not a couple anymore. And like for a woman, you have no defender, no companion. You miss the conversation. A part of you is missing. It's never going to be the same again. The evenings and the mornings are the worst. And you reach over sometime in your bed when you're sleeping, you're forgetting they're not there. Cooking for one person. Can't sleep at night. Scared of noises. And all there's stuff that you run into in the house all the time reminding you. Well, I went through all that. I made it. I made it. And I was 79 years old when I lost my husband. My husband had Alzheimer's for probably close to 3 years. Sometimes it's hard to pinpoint when it all started. So I think in a way it was different for me, because I was losing him gradually. Now, if any of you have went through that with a husband or a wife who's had dementia of any sort, then you know what I'm talking about. In fact, make a comment on that if you would. It's just, and people I don't think really understand it. And yes, I grieved. It was a horrible time. It was right in the height of that stupid COVID, and it was winter, and my husband's mind was just gone. So he was gone. He was somewhere else, you know. He thought there were 4 of me. It started out 2 of me, 3 of me, 4 of me. And toward the end, we had to put locks on the doors because he wanted to wander off. Poor guy was just so bad. I ended up having to put him into an Alzheimer's unit. And then there was this horrible stretch of trying to get government help because it's $8,000 a month. And Medicare covered that for, I think it was 3 months. And after that, boom, you know, so I'm actually still paying. You only have to pay it. No. And ladies, if you're paying on something like that from a nursing home, I'm only paying $25 a month. Because as long as you're paying something, your credit's good and you're okay. But, yeah, in a way, when he passed, it was a blessing for him, a blessing for me. I was so glad he was out of this tormented mind that he was in, you know, just, it wasn't reality at all. It wasn't him anymore. And he was a big man, and it was difficult for me to take care of him. But still, no matter what, you grieve. You just, and now it's like you have these mixed feelings, almost of relief for him, relief for me. I mean, because we knew where it was ending up. I knew he'd never get out of there. He was just getting worse. There's no way he'd get out. And he wanted out. And every time I would go there to visit him, is the guilt you would feel because you just wanted to take him out. And I've tried that one time. No, it wasn't my choice, but one of the nursing homes. Long story. But I had to bring him home. He didn't last more than 2 hours at home. I had to call an ambulance. But he was a Christian. He knew the Lord. I know where he's at. He's at total peace. And as far as marriage, it's until death do us part. Ladies, if your husband or gentleman, if your wife has passed away, you're no longer married. You don't owe it to your friends, family, or anybody else to sit around and grieve until they feel like you've grieved enough. I already grieved, I had grieved a long time ago before he passed. So it was like 3 months. I was lonely. I wanted to go on with my life, and I'm like, I'll be honest with you, I'm thinking, I'm 79 years old. If I'm going to go I was wanting to just, I just wanted somebody to go to church with, to go out to eat with, just a companion. But I thought, if I go on a dating site, right now I can put 79 years old. Well, I didn't want to put 80 on there because I don't know who's going to be interested in an 80-year-old lady. There's all these crazy thoughts in my head, the reason I did it. And I thought, I just need somebody, if I can just talk to him on the phone, somebody who's going through what I'm going through, just somebody to talk to. Because evenings, as you know, evenings I think are the worst. Or Sunday after church. You go to church and you sit by yourself, or if somebody is a friend, you might be able to sit by them. But if they're married, you don't want to be sitting next to them and pushing in on them. And they might ask you out to eat with them, have breakfast with them, maybe once or twice, but they're not going to do it after that. They have their own husband or wife or family. And it's the same with anything. They come to the funeral, they may ask you out for dinner sometime or over, but that's going to be it. And I don't blame them at all. It's just a fact of life, ladies. Don't expect the people are going to, don't sit around and wait for these people to call you and include you in their life. They have a life of their own. Their time will come. They're going to be a widow or a widower too. But right now, it's not, but it's happening to you. Don't let life control you, these things that are happening. Or other people, what they do, that they're going to control you. Don't do that. It's just you and God. It's you and God now. Now, He promises to be a husband to you, to the widows. He promises that. And your life is like a book. All of our lives are like a book. So when our husband or our child dies, or anybody in our family, any loved one, that's not the end. That was just one chapter in your life. But that book's got more chapters to write. Your life isn't over. And you're not alone when you are writing these chapters. Invite God into the rest of this book. Invite Him in. Believe me, He wants to be with you. And He never gets tired of listening to you. He never, there's not one of us that is more important than another. He wants to be with you. He loves when you talk. Go ahead and talk to Him. Don't forget to listen too. Be quiet at times, just listen to Him. But just kind of relax in it, knowing that He will take care of you. And let Him open doors. But self-pity and continual grief and not trying to get out of it, it's bad. It's just a bad thing. It's a waste of time. Nobody wants to be around you. Being honest with you. They don't want to be around it. They're not grieving right now. They'll try, but they're going to get tired of it. So, and a lot of times we have to put up a front. But there's always somebody. Now, when I lost my husband, my sister, she lived 2 hours away from me. But I could get on the phone with her and talk with her. And she would cry with me. And, we love that, don't we? Misery loves company. But you can't stay there. She can't stay there. So you just got to go on with your life. So it was for me 3 months after my husband passed away. Then I joined the dating sites. I did. I just wanted to talk to somebody. And I'm just going to be honest, this is me. I love women friends. I dearly love women friends. It's not the same as a man. I'm sorry. I like the companionship of men, I really do. And I have so much, I think the worst thing is you've got this love still in you and no place to put it. You just have nothing, you don't know what to do with it. It's like when you lose a child, you have this you're loving this child and it's gone, and you have no child to hold, and you have all this love to give, but no place to put it. So, and I know what I'm going to say now. Some of you don't take it the wrong way, but I remember having a dog that died, and Larry, my husband, deceased husband, he was crazy about that dog, and I really loved her too. And so when we had to put her down, we couldn't stand to be in the house because it was so lonely without her. So we'd get out of the house, and then we'd come back and we'd be upset again because she wasn't there to greet us. Talking about my dog, she's going to be barking. Millie, no. So we ended, well, it wasn't me, my daughter, I think she went online, and there was a shelter, dog shelter, and they would put dogs' pictures up there. And so she sent these pictures to us, and we chose my dog that you hear barking. That was years ago, Millie. She was 6 months old when we got her. She's 13 now. But do you know what? The minute we got that dog in our arms, we had another dog to feed, to water, to hold, to pet, to take out, to do all this stuff with. And our grief went away. Now, I don't want to compare a dog with your husband, but still that love thing, that love connection that you need. Now, I'm not saying go online and be just looking for a husband. Just a companion. And there's going to be a lot of goofballs. There's going to be some weird stuff. In fact, I have another video on there with my experience on a dating site. This was years, probably almost 2 years ago. It's so funny. But I met a lot of nice gentlemen. I really did. And a lot of them are in the same boat that you're in. And I ended up, oh my goodness, here. It was 6 months after my husband passed away. I ended up marrying. I found a man he's a year older than me. And he lost his wife to COVID. And on my husband's death certificate, it said that he passed away from COVID and Alzheimer's. Both of us were lonely. Both of us just needed somebody to talk to. But the problem was, excuse me, I'm from Indiana. He originally was from Illinois. But he had moved to Tennessee. And he loved Tennessee. We began talking on the phone. We would talk every evening. I think it was 7 o'clock. I think 7 every evening we would talk. But I was talking to and seeing other men occasionally, But there was nobody that was marriage material or that I would be serious about. And I was very, Millie, no. It's a squirrel in the window. I know, Peter. Okay, I gotta stop this a minute. Okay, thanks for sticking with me. I had to go quiet my dog down. All right. So Mr. Bill, I met Bill, my husband, as I was telling you about, and he was very sure. He was very sure about me, but I wasn't ready to get married, not yet. And that went into another whole interesting story where he drove from Tennessee to be with me, to meet me, and then wanted to get married, and we decided to get married, and then he drove again from Tennessee, maybe the second or third time, and I got cold feet and backed out. Oh, we had that's just another long story. In fact, he's a writer, and he's starting a book on that. He's already started a book on our relationship. But my profile, I made sure to let anybody know who was reading it. The most important thing to me is my relationship with the Lord. So if you do go on a dating site, make sure you you're honest about everything that you have to have. There's some things that are negotiable, but there's just some things you absolutely have to have in a relationship. And mine was his walk with the Lord. I had to have somebody who that was important to them. Because if it isn't, they can really pull you down. They really can. So we've been married. At July 18th, we've been married 2 years. And I no longer live in Indiana. And I'm now 81 years old. And we've been married. It'll be, 2 years. The 18th of July. And it's really worked out good. We had very few bumps in the road, I'll say that. But we moved 3 times in 3 months. When I even say that, I'm like, what? I had to move from my home in Indiana. I had to get the house sold, my car sold. Then we moved all my stuff to Tennessee into a storage. And then I moved into his house. And then we got his house ready to sell. We sold his house. And we were living there in his home. And from there we had to move again. Then we moved into the house we're in right now, the home we're in. And we had to get all my stuff out of this big storage. Oh my goodness. And here we're in our 80s, Well, I was not quite 80 then, but I am now. So, a lot of stuff has happened in between then. But look what God's done for me. Because I just did it, you guys. I was fearless. And that is just kind of how I do things anyhow. I just do it. And I just did it. So, but, be very prayerful about it. And be very honest on anything you write on these dating sites. And the best thing is if you can meet somebody in your local church. That would be wonderful. I told Bill when we were online, and when he first was interested in me, and I said, he says, our profiles are pretty much alike. I think they match up pretty good. Of course, he had not even wrote a profile yet. He had just read mine, and then he went in and wrote one. But he was truthful, was honest, but he wanted to make sure it sounded like his sounded like mine, So kind of cheated on that one. But anyways, we go to church every Sunday, and there's times I wake up and it's rainy, and I'm like, oh, I could just watch this on television. And he goes, no, let's go to church. See, I love that. And today, as we're speaking right now, he's driving to Huntsville, Alabama, to a men's conference, picking up 2 of his buddies, Christian conference. Isn't that wonderful? So we've made a lot of good Christian friends here in Tennessee. I love it here. I really do. I mean, I shouldn't say wherever I'm at, I guess. You can ask me if you need to know. But what else? If you are in grief right now, you can't just instantly get over it. But if you need to get help, I mean, there are grief counselors, and you could probably look that up on your phone. Just put grief counselor, and that'll be a start for you to find somebody close to you. And that possibly, if you belong to a church, there might be someone, or even a pastor or someone. Need help with this sometimes. I didn't get it. I just really didn't know where to go to, and it was just at a weird time. I was just so busy and overwhelmed. And then I started my YouTube channel right after he passed away, because I was thinking, how can I make a little money? And at my age, I just don't feel like getting out working. I wanted to do something on my own. So, and I haven't quit. So I've been doing this for 2 years. I think it was in April. It was 2 years in April. And I didn't know what I was doing, but it didn't matter. Just get on here and be honest. What else can I tell you? If you guys need prayer, I don't want to make this video any longer, but if you guys need prayer, do that in the comments, because I would like to read them, and I would like to, and Bill joins me in this too. He'll join me. I would like to pray for all of you. And I just want to encourage you. Hey, look how old I was, 79. Come on. Here, I got a good husband now. I'm living in Tennessee. And, you're always concerned about, well, how do I join these things together, our lives together? Well, he had a home, I had a home. We just sold our 2 homes, put it together, and got a nicer house than either one of us had. Same with your finances, joining your finances. I know, it's gutsy, right? But it worked out. But both of us were in prayer about this. We both prayed about it. Ask God, invite God into your problems. Bring them to Him, your grief. And you know what? So many women I've talked to, they are as happy as a lark. I've got 2 here in our neighborhood that have been widowed recently. It's been over a year, maybe a year and a half, 2 years for the other one. They're doing so good. And they both seem to have a full life, and they're happy. And if you have, always make sure, you keep friends in your life. You don't have to start making friends. Go somewhere. Or like with your local church, if they have. If they don't have a group for widows or widowers, why don't you start one? I'm telling you, if you do, you're going to find there's a lot of people there who've been just looking for that. And they don't even have to belong to your church. You could open this up. But don't sit back and wait for somebody else to change your life. You take hold of that. You take control of it. Don't let other people, waiting for other people to make you happy, other people to give you direction. You go to the Lord about this. Pray. Get a relationship with Him. I did have a good relationship with the Lord all that time. In fact, Bill and I were saying we miss that alone time that we both had before we got married with the Lord. So we're like, maybe I just need to, the car's in the garage, just go sit in the car in the garage. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was alone, there wasn't anybody else. And I was so close to the Lord, and He was the same way. There's so much I could tell you about that. But it all worked out. I just want you to know I love all you guys. I'm sorry about the grief you're going through. It's just no getting around it. It stinks. It stinks. It will get better. It will get better. And if they were a Christian, I don't know if they weren't, I'm so sorry, but if they were Christians or they knew the Lord, it isn't over either. But the marriage part is over. Because in heaven, there's no marriage. I'm saying it isn't. Okay? And they don't care. They are happy. Your husband, your wife left, whoever it was, they are totally happy. They just want you to be happy. And marriage is just something down here on earth. It has nothing to do with up there. So, if you just want companionship or a friend, do that. Lady friends, whatever it is. But don't sit in your house alone, guys. Get involved with something every day. Make yourself do something that gets you out of there. Something. And like I say, if you need grief counseling, that's a great step right there. Okay. Well, I'm rooting for you, and I'll be praying for you. And if you want on my prayer list where I pray for all of you, just make a little comment down there. Okay, I love all you guys. God bless you. Bye-bye.